Hello, I'm Hannah. So our class today is perfect for the morning. We're going to be connecting with our breath, connecting with movement, really setting the rest of the day. So expect to be moving, expect to be breathing, but please make sure you're doing it to your limitations, to how you want to practice, and you're just using me as a guide. Obviously, my breaths are going to be different to you. Child's pose is always there for you, whether you just want a break, you want a quick moment, you want to connect back with that breath. So leave the ego at the door. That is all I can say to you. We're going to be starting off with a pranayama technique. So it's a breath work called Kapalabhati. It's working our core area, really focusing on our exhales rather than our inhales. And our inhales are just an automatic reaction to expelling that air. I'll show you from the side. So I like to practice with my hands on my belly. That just helps send those signals to my brain. So our first inhale will be conscious to get us set up. So you'll be inhaling through the nose, filling up this belly. See how my belly expands. And on your exhale, you're consciously shooting this air out of your nose, pulling the belly button back towards the spine. And you can hear the sound as well. So I'll do one breath for you. So you can feel it shooting out. And then you'll continue. So the first breath, conscious, and then as you go on, not conscious. It's just an automatic reaction. So I'll show you a few. So that is what we'll be doing. You'll just be focusing on the exhale, so much force that it forces your body to then inhale again. We'll be doing 3 rounds of 10 exhales each. Now, if you feel a bit crampy at any point, just stop, come back into your normal breath rhythm, and then we'll carry on. Okay, now let's get started. Hands on your belly if that's what you want them. Make that first conscious big breath in and go 10 exhales. End of your 10, just come back into your normal breathing again. Okay, setting up for another round. Okay, come back into it. One more round. Okay, so hopefully you feel a bit warm. That airway, that air passage feels a little bit more open, especially in the morning we can feel a bit stuffy. This is perfect to have a bit of picking up through the day as well. We're working on this core without even breaking a sweat. Great. If you do usually practice with blocks or cushions, feel free to do so in this class as well. Really helps keep a nice elongated back so that we can focus on making the most efficient breaths as we can. Okay, let's start moving. We're going to go into child's pose to start with. Whether you want knees apart, knees together, maybe you have a block underneath the forehead. Just allowing the hips to sink down to the heels. Really loosen that belly. Feel the inhales filling up the belly, the back and the sides of the ribs, the chest, the collarbone. And exhaling in reverse. Using this breath to find that stillness and sense of calm here on your mat. You have dedicated this 30 minutes to you, so really honor yourself now. One more big breath here. Coming all the way back up, taking the knees together, toes together, sinking back into our plantar stretch, really separating the toes, make sure they're not tucked under one another. Whenever we want to think about breathing, we need to think about posture. If we don't have a good posture, we can't breathe correctly. So working from the toes that do get forgotten sometimes and are scrunched up into shoes all the time, this is a great place to start. So separate the toes and just relax here, coming back into that breath. Really use these deep inhales and exhales to calm that nervous system down, to come away from that fight or flight. You are in a safe space, I promise. Maybe you're even focusing on that third eye center just in between your eyebrows to bring you this sense of calm and stillness. Okay, 3 more big breaths, don't cheat them. Final big breath for me. Exhale, really nice, coming forward just for a second, just to give you time to bash out those toes, get that blood flowing again, really nice. And then tuck the toes, walking backwards, rolling over so that you're now completely on the feet. Feet just over hips width distance apart into your ragdoll, bending the knees so much that your belly is resting onto your thighs, holding onto the opposite elbows with those hands, and just swaying from side to side. Maybe you're shaking, nodding the head, just to really loosen up that neck. And feeling your hamstrings and your lower back starting to warm up. Really nice. Coming back to stillness. Big inhale, coming into a halfway lift. Hands on the shins, weight in the toes. Might feel a bit different in this wide stance, but you want a really nice long back. You're gazing straight down rather than at your toes or your feet. Shoulder blades pulling together. Just take a couple of breaths here. Exhale all the way back down, completely fold. And slowly inhale through every single vertebrae, head being the last thing to come up. Really nice. Making your way to the top of the mat, feet just over hips width distance apart. You can feel those hips here, the bony parts of the hips. Inhale, hands come all the way up. Exhale, folding over to the right side. Almost imagining like you've got to fit through a tiny gap. Reaching the fingers on your inhale, and on your exhale, maybe folding a little bit deeper. Keeping those glutes and quads engaged. Inhale, back up through center, gazing up. Exhale, hands come all the way down, interlace behind you. Next, exhale, draw the knuckles down, reach the chest through, gazing up. Just moving the upper back. And exhale, fold all the way down, bent knees, belly resting onto the thighs, knuckles up and over, hanging the head. Inhale, lift the torso slightly, uninterlace the hands, place them down in front of you, and step the left leg back into your low lunge. Maybe your knee is down, maybe your toes are untucked. Now this is the perfect place for you to use your blocks. Maybe you're resting the hands onto that thigh. Make sure your right leg, your knee and your ankle are in line. Bone on bone is the strongest position for us to be in. Now why I'm suggesting blocks is that we can keep a nice straight back. We're not trying to reach the floor and rounding through. We're breathing, connecting with that breath and movement. Crown of the head long all the way down to that tailbone. Planting the left hand down on the ground, maybe on a block. Big inhale, easy twist, reaching this right hand high. Spinning the left rib cage round to the right side. Every inhale, crown of the head long to the front. Every exhale, maybe you twist a little bit more, reaching this right hand higher. Exhale, both hands back down to the mat. This time, walk the right foot to the outside edge of the mat for your lizard lunge, so you're feeling a nice stretch through the inner thigh now and that hip flexor on the left side. The hands can still be on blocks. Keep drawing this right knee into that right upper arm. Walk the hands forward, tuck the left toes, and then bring the left foot behind the right in this crossed forward fold. Next, inhale, take this left foot back, setting up for your warrior one. So we've got our foot 45-degree angle to the front corner of that mat. Big inhale, hands come all the way up. So we've got our feet towards the outside edges of the mat. That helps square these hips so they're facing forward. That back foot, the arch is lifting the outside edge, that back edge of the foot is really grounding into the floor. You're pulling this knee up to activate the quad, glute engaged. And we want to think about the least amount of curve in this lower back. So if you're really arching through this lower back, think about the rib cage pulling back in. And it might mean that your hands can't go all the way up and you need to keep them at heart center, and that's absolutely fine. Grounding through the big toe of that right foot and breathing here. Holding here for a little bit longer than you want to. Remember, a pose doesn't start until you want to get out of it. So just start to notice all those twitches in your body, how everything works together. And find again that stillness with your breath. Final big inhale. Exhale. And then stepping this left leg all the way forward to the top of the mat, back to your hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands all the way up. Exhale, over to the left this time, stretching through the right side of the body. Every inhale, fingers go a little bit further. Every exhale, maybe you fold a little bit more. Inhale, back through center, gazing up. Exhale, hands interlace behind you. Inhale, draw the knuckles down, lift the chest through. And exhale, bend the knees a lot, coming all the way down into this forward fold. Belly resting onto those thighs, so have those knees bent as much as you need to. Inhale just a bit so you can take the hands down and step this right leg straight back into your low lunge. Maybe that right knee is down, toes untucked. Maybe the hands are on blocks. Remember about the knee and the ankle alignment on that left side. And feel free to walk this right knee back if you want more of a stretch through the hip flexor. Planting this right hand down, big inhale, easy twist, left hand high. Thinking about that inhale, reaching the crown longer, and exhale, spinning that right rib cage around to the left. Exhale, both hands down to the ground, walk the left foot to the outside edge of the mat, both hands to the inside. Keep thinking about this left knee drawing to the upper arm of the left arm. Maybe those hands are still on blocks. Hands slightly forward, tucking the right toes, and then take that right foot, crossing it behind the left, forward fold. And remembering we're setting up for our warrior one, so taking this right leg straight back to the outside edge of the mat, 45-degree angle towards the top. Inhale all the way up. Hip bones facing forward. Arch of that back foot really lifting up, grounding through the back edge of that foot. Least amount of curve in that lower back, really nice. Remembering we're here for a little bit longer than we want to be. Big inhales through the nose and out through the nose. Final big inhale. Exhale, this time hands come all the way down to the ground, stepping this left foot straight back into your all fours. We've got our hands slightly in front of our shoulders and knees slightly behind our hips. On our exhale, we're going to take the whole of the torso down to the ground at the same time. Don't rush. All the way down. Forehead down. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Inhale into your cobra. Gazing up just in front of the mat. Drawing the shoulder blades together. Now think about maybe you're posteriorly tilting your pelvis, so you're tucking your tailbone under. That might feel a little bit nicer in this lower back. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, back up. Exactly the same, lift the chest off. Just take the hands up just to make sure that you are using the back strength. Really grounding that pelvis. Exhale, forehead down. One more time. Inhale up. Take the hands off, tuck that tailbone. 3, 2, and 1. Hands down, forehead down. Inhale, back up through your all fours. Maybe you stay in your all fours or come to child's pose, or maybe you keep going all the way up into your downward facing dog. Fingers are spread super widely. Index fingers are facing forward or maybe slightly turned out. You're grounding through the index finger knuckle and the thumb, helping the forearms to internally rotate. And then externally rotating the upper arms, so rotating away from them. Separating the shoulder blades, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears, creating a really nice long line all the way from the tips of the fingers up to the tailbone. If the hamstrings and lower back feel tight and you're creating a curve, heels off, knees bent. Head is nice and loose. You're breathing here. Inhale, gaze forward. And then we're going to bring this right foot all the way through, setting up for our warrior one again. Maybe you need to give that right foot a helping hand. Both feet are towards the outside edge of the mat. Big inhale, hands come all the way up. Really nice. This time we're going to pick up this back leg and come onto the ball of the foot. So the toes are now facing forward, knee is facing forward, hands still up. Exhale, knee all the way down. Inhale, all the way up. And down. And up. One more time, down, staying down, untucking the left toes, hands down, and take the weight back, straightening through this right leg. We're flexing this foot, and you can absolutely have a bend in that knee. Hands on blocks is there for you. Feeling this stretch through the hamstring. Inhale, back through with your hands to the front of the mat. And then we're going to take this right foot straight back into our all fours, that slightly wider stance. Exhale slowly to the whole of that exhale all the way down, torso down at the same time to the mat, forehead down. Inhale, cobra, drawing the shoulder blades together, gazing slightly in front of that mat. Exhale down, pushing up through your all fours. Maybe you stay there or your child's pose, or maybe you're coming all the way up into your downward facing dog. Just a couple of breaths here. And then inhale, bring this left leg forward, setting up for our warrior one. Big inhale all the way up. Back leg is doing a lot of work, remember. And then coming onto the ball of this right foot, knee facing forward, back leg is bent. Exhale, knee down. And up. And down. And up, really nice and controlled. And down, staying down. Untuck the right toes. Hands come down, and you're straightening through this left leg, taking the weight back. Flexing this left foot because that helps the hamstring to lengthen. Remember, you can absolutely have a bend in that knee, and you can have your hands on blocks if that is going to create this nice open chest. Inhale, back forward, taking this left leg back into your all fours. Slowly down, or maybe you stay up. Forehead down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale down. All the way back up, coming back into our downward dog or child's pose. And we're going to do that flow one more time. Bring this right leg forward. Setting up for our warrior one. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, ball of the foot, knee facing forward this time. Exhale, knee down. And up. And down. And up, really nice, and down, staying down. Untuck the toes, hands come down, taking the weight back, straightening through this right leg, flexing that foot. Really nice. Inhale, back forward, taking this right leg all the way back, all fours, and down. This is the last time. Forehead down. Inhale, cobra, and down. Inhale, back up. This is our final downward dog. Maybe you want to give it a go just for this time. One big breath here, and exhale. Bring this left leg forward, setting up for our warrior one. Remember, hips square, back leg doing a lot of work. Exhale. Inhale, high lunge. Our knee is now facing forward. We're on the ball of that right foot. Exhale, knee down. And up, really drive through this front heel. Down. And up. And down, staying down. This is our last time, untucking the right toes. Taking the weight forward, straightening up through as much as you can, that left leg. Really nice. 3, 2, and 1. Keep taking this weight back and come in to an easy seat, whatever that looks like for you. Hands onto your thighs, palms facing up. Just breathing here. Remembering the whole purpose of our moving today was to breathe. Starting to cool down, so just switch that mentality to big, deep breaths. Coming back to that stillness. I'm going to extend our left leg out to the front. Cross this right leg over. If you can, take this knee down, come to the edge, outside edge of that right foot. If not, just plant the sole of the foot to the ground. And then we're going to lean all the way forward. Hanging this head, we don't need to hold anything. We're allowed to have a round back this time. You should feel a really nice stretch through the back of the neck. Inhale, slowly coming back up. Switching over side, so right leg long, crossing this left knee over. So we've got our knees stacked on top of one another, or again, the sole of the foot is there for you. And hanging over here, you should feel a nice stretch through the outer hip as well. Inhale, coming up, planting the feet on the ground, bending our knees, and really slowly lowering yourself all the way down to the ground. Hugging the knees into the chest, trying to keep the tailbone down and the shoulders down. Maybe tucking the chin to create a really elongated neck. Coming into happy baby, maybe full happy baby or half. If it's full, you're taking your hands in between the knees, grabbing hold of the outside of the feet or the calves or the hamstrings, and drawing the heels up to the sky and flexing those feet. Keep drawing the knees into the armpits, and again, really drive this flat back to the floor, to your mat. Switch over to the other side if you're doing half. Keep drawing the heels up to the sky. And super slowly coming into your Shavasana. If you need to take any other stretches, please do. If not, take the feet as wide or wider than the mat. Hands away from the body, palms facing up. And closing down the eyes. Breathing here. That is the only thing you need to do. Feeling that belly rising and falling. Just noticing, without any judgment, if you were breathing as consistently and as fully as you are now throughout your practice. Maybe that's something that you can be working on. Just check in with your jaw, just make sure it's nice and relaxed. Taking the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, releasing the jaw. Just focusing on the eyes, just making sure you're not squinting. You can completely relax them. Shoulders growing heavy, hips and thighs really grounded, and the feet falling out to the sides. Use every inhale as a way to bring more stillness into your body, into your mind. And with every exhale, release any tension, any busyness, and completely let it go. It's absolutely natural for thoughts to come into our mind, but just don't judge, don't think, and just let them pass by like a cloud in the sky. If you've got more time to stay here, please do. If not, start to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Coming into a really big morning stretch, fingers and toes as far away from one another as possible. Bending up the knees, rolling over to the right side, your energetic side. Using that bicep as a pillow. And when you feel ready, keeping the eyes closed, slowly come all the way up to a sitting position with your head being the last thing to come up. Once you're here, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Just take a couple of moments to reconnect back with that breath. Feeling that inhale expanding the chest, expanding the belly. And exhale coming back towards you. Take your hands to heart center, bow the chin to the chest, thumbs to the third eye, just in between the eyebrows. Dropping the head down. Set an intention today for you to utilize this breath that we have been working on. In any situation that you find that your mind is getting a bit cloudy, a bit foggy, a bit busy, maybe you can feel your body start to tense up, you can feel your jaw clench, you can feel your fists starting to be created in those hands. And you can come back to this breath and come back to this stillness that you have cultivated throughout this practice. Coming to the end of our practice, taking the hands away from the eyes, and whenever you're ready, blinking the eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. I really hope this has set a nice tone for the rest of the day. And remember, you can do this at any time, and especially that pranayama we did earlier is a great pick-me-up for the rest of your day as well. See you next time.